And just like that, he was left all alone in the world, a world of his own creation. And what better punishment there is than facing your crimes, unredeemable, forever alone, remembered only until you take your last breath. 100%. Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another AOE video, moments before the new season drops. I am sure you all want to know what's the bad AOE I'm talking about, and of course, like always, this is my personal opinion. But just like there is a bad AOE, there is also a good one, and it's really bad. Confused? Great. Oh, and there is also one more thing. We are going to expose someone. Ooh, they're gonna be mad at me. But anyways, let's talk about it. Let me take you back to good old 2011. Back then, slightly less insane past me was about to get Attack on Titan for the first time, completely by accident. I never read a manga before, but a friend insisted I must try it. He kept talking about how captivating it was, and he finally convinced me, so when I got back home, I immediately put it on a shelf and never touched it in 6 months. Yes, I'm an idiot, I know, but I did read it eventually, which is also a funny story, but that's for another time. Anyway, my friend was right. He knew exactly what my taste was in books and movies, and this manga I was reading for the first time captivated me. After a few hours, I finished it and immediately went on Amazon to order the rest. There were 5 volumes available and I read them all the same day I got them. From that point, I tried to learn more about when new volumes come out. That's when I found out about the monthly release date and digital downloads, and I was happy to continue the story that interested me so much. You're probably wondering what the hell am I talking about and what does it got to do with AOE? Don't worry, like the dragons in Game of Thrones, it's coming, just slow. Anyway, going back to my low budget flashback. You need to understand that back then there was no fandom. That's why it was so hard to get new information or different opinions back then. For all I knew, this was my story, one that no one knew about. And in a way, I wasn't wrong. Back then, Attack on Titan was just starting, and it wasn't mainstream like it is today. So basically, I was reading by myself, and because the friend who gave me the manga only read the printed volumes, I had no one to talk to about the story or share my theories with. And that's when it came. The anime arrived. From that point, the fandom began to really grow, and people started sharing and comparing ideas. But another thing started to happen. People started seeing small inconsistencies between the manga and the now new animated version, especially in certain scenes of Eren and his Titan eyes being different in the anime version, giving it the title The Berserk Titan. So this is how AOE started, right? Wrong, because this is the point in the video. I am telling you that what a lot of people call AOE is not AOE at all, at least not what you imagine. That is also the reason why AOE has so many different scenarios and ideas, which makes everything look like one mess of a thing. The truth is that you all have been gaslighted into thinking the term AOE was something that has been around for a long time. This is like a Mandela effect, making you believe something was always there. But it wasn't. And we are getting there, but back to my stupid flashback. As the story went on, we got more and more little differences between both versions. That is what led to one of the first ideas about the alternate endings when people started suspecting that the anime and manga exist on 2 different realities. Those ideas got more traction when Attack on Titan's school cast was introduced, showing the entire cast as teenagers going to school. And of course, the manga OVA of Mikasa gave more and more similar signs of something bigger going on. In fact, some of the best theories came out from that Mikasa story, and I mean the manga version. It was much more detailed. The idea was already out there, but most anime watchers didn't know about it, and understandably, also some manga readers didn't. So like I said, there were a lot of ideas filling the fandom, but you know what you couldn't find back then? The term AOE. No one used it because it wasn't around yet. And don't worry, there is a point to all of this, because this term did come, only later. But why? And when? Around 2 to 3 years ago. That's when. And it happened around the time Akatsuki no Requiem was released. I also didn't remember all of the details, so I got help from my friend from Discord to refresh my memory about it. So if you are not familiar, Akatsuki no Requiem was the music video behind one of the ending OP of Attack on Titan, this one that revolves mostly around young Historia. Now I won't give you all the details of it because it's not the point of this video. The point was the timing. And around those times, the manga also ended, raising some haters that hated the ending. That was when the term AOE first came out. People that wanted the ending to be changed for their own personal reasons. Most of those people didn't even know about the original idea of a different ending and all the clues people found out over the years. But they did know they were talking about a different ending too. So in their minds, the original idea and their personal idea fell under the same name, what you all call AOE. So what is AOE? AOE became a collective. It now mistakenly contained all the old and very logical ideas that were around since the first season, and it is mixed with a lot of garbage headcanon that was later piled on top. My point is that the name AOE was cursed because it was created from the hate of the end and not from the original idea of different endings. That's why the term AOE only turned up after the manga ended and not way before that, because it represented something different, which happens to also involve a different ending, so it got tied together to the original idea under the same new title, AOE. And that is also why AOE gets so much disrespect, because a lot know it for its ridiculous ideas and not for the solid original ones. So who was the enemy? Who was the group who tied good ideas to hateful ones, making everyone hate them? This group was the shippers. And now I made a lot of you angry, but I will clarify. Surely I don't mean all shippers, because a lot of shippers are not hateful at all. So, like always, I'm talking about a small but extremely loud group inside the normal shippers I have no problem with. This small group was so loud, they even started some fan-made ending to the story. The sad thing was that they had incredible artwork, but the monologue felt like a fanboy or girl wrote them. So, what is the bad AOE? The bad AOE is an idea that was formed out of disliking a certain coupling of characters. If you love a character so much that you feel the ending of a story should be changed, then you are not really a fan of the story. You are a fan of your story, the one that you've been telling yourself ever since a certain queen chose a certain farmer. And like I said, I have been around here for a long time, so I could see all of this happening. You can't tie your disliking of the ending to the original idea of a different ending simply because they don't mean the same thing. And I can promise you, Historia was not part of that old theories that started the idea of the different ending. You forced her in there, and with that, you did her character a great disservice. You turned her from a great character to a petty one, having an imaginary personal war with Mikasa. And now everyone thinks that AOE means Eren is the father and ends up with Historia. I'm sorry, but Attack on Titan is not part of the Disney Channel. Not yet. And Eren and Mikasa shippers, don't think I don't have criticism about you too, because a small group of you is also insanely loud and toxic. I have seen how you reacted when your ship won, and that was pitiful. But actually, no one really won, because no one really got to be with Eren. So there is no actual win for any of you. There is only one win, and that is for the story, for giving us such a tragic and beautifully sad conclusion. Now those shippers are not alone, and because the term AOE was now officially a garbage can of nonsense ideas, many added to it. So the people thinking Eren should wipe everyone out because he was always vengeful and is a Chad Eren, you are the same as the shippers. You fell in love with a certain aspect of him and projected it for the rest of the story. And yes, I know some of you will not like that. I know, you don't like seeing a man crying. Grow up. Isayama meant for this moment to look pitiful. It's literally in the dialogue. So what do I think about AOE? And from that point I will stop saying AOE because I am referring to the original idea, the one that was around from almost the beginning. I believed in it, and today I respect it, but I don't see it coming. Why? Because in a 12-year story we all grow up, and also the author of the story. And maybe during those years, Isayama matured and maybe decided something he once considered as a good idea might not be the best one right now. And before I will give you my idea of a good ending, let me tell you why true fans can't really hate the current one. Because if you believe in the original idea of a different ending, you need to understand that the manga ending is not being replaced. Nothing is being replaced. The manga ending will forever be part of the story if there is indeed a different ending. And I won't even call it different. I will call it additional, like additional original content. which is also AOC, the theory I showed you on my channel. But what is the biggest difficulty in offering an additional ending? Even if clues were placed and it makes sense, there is something more important than making sense: making a point. Basically, if the change doesn't make a strong enough point of why this change happens, then it shouldn't happen. Does the new ending have a stronger case, point, or lesson than the original? That's the question you should ask, and that's the question that I am asking. If this was my story, I was afraid I will diminish the point I was already making, and the ending of Attack on Titan gave a very strong point, which I 100% support. That hate will never be gone as long as the last person standing, because humanity is humanity's greatest threat. Always was, always will be. That is one of the undeniable truths of Attack on Titan, but there is another one. Hate will be gone once all humanity, every single one of us, will be wiped out. And that brings me to what I consider an ending that will answer this part and not diminish the point of the story. 100%. Eren kills everyone, and I mean everyone, including the island, his friends, everyone. He is left all alone in the world. Back when I was still thinking like this, I might have been a little influenced by Future Diary, but still, it is valid also here. But why would Eren destroy everything? There could be several reasons. My personal favorite was him losing control after someone he cares for dies, and back then I thought it will be Mikasa. Of course, I didn't know back then what I know about her now, but again, that was just one option. But the final result is the same. Eren will be left alone in the world of his own creation. A flat world, the world's biggest playground, as I called it in my 139 breakdown video. He will finally have his freedom, but no way of bringing life, and no one to share this experience with. This can connect nicely with Armin's later monologue with Zeke about enjoying the little things in life. But the aspect that interested me the most about it is what's next? What will happen after he died? This will be the end of humanity and the end of hate, but what's next? What will happen after? Was this humanity's small part in the universe, just like the dinosaurs? That idea fascinated me, and all those will serve as a great additional lesson to go along with the manga ending. And even though I don't see it coming today, I can't deny it is a powerful and sad conclusion that will also serve the dark tone and message of Attack on Titan. And that is all for this video, my Titan-loving friends, and I hope you enjoyed. The anime is coming back real soon, and hopefully we will get some more information. I will be covering everything on my channel and YouTube shorts, so don't forget to subscribe and like if you enjoyed. Let me know what you think, and I will see you all real soon in my next video, and even sooner in the comments. But until next time, let me just remind you all to dedicate your hearts to all of humanity, inside and outside the walls.